Hi friends, I'm Olga Koelsch and welcome to my studio.
I found my old sketchbook with Christmas illustrations, something like this, and I thought it can be a nice thing to paint today. Let's first analyze the colors. First of all, we will need yellow for the top and for some glares. We also can see a lot of orange and red-orange colors. I will use cadmium orange and permanent red light. I will also use Windsor red. Metallic deep can also work for this purpose. It's more for shady parts, for darkest parts. And to make it even darker, I will mix my Windsor red with phthalo green color. It's also called Viridian, and I have a whole lesson about mixes with this green color. It will create very nice, beautiful color for the most dark parts. Something like this. I will use Canson Montoile paper, just half of the size. Let's make a drawing which will help us a little bit along the process. So to make a drawing, we first draw the initial shape of the ornament. Make nice bottom, beautiful bottom. Then add the top. And now let's divide it into sections. So you paint, you draw diagonal lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And on the other side, just create nice rounded shapes for that. And our drawing is ready. I would like to lighten up a little bit the lines with kneaded eraser, like this. Important to keep in mind when we paint glossy objects that glossy objects they reflect everything what's around. First of all, they reflect the main source of light, which will be in our case from the left side, but they also reflect Christmas tree around, other ornaments, even maybe you if you if you come in close to the ornament, and so on. Christmas lights, everything around will be reflected, and therefore we paint with a lot of different shades here. We will start to paint section by section, and to do that I glaze first section just with clean water. And I have to remember to leave that area in the left side. I will try to keep it untouched. The top is gold, golden color, so it will definitely reflect on the shape of the ornament. Therefore, I will add yellow. Just with the tip of the brush, I add yellow, and I add it everywhere in this shape randomly, because it will reflect, for example here, from this side, it will reflect on the other side, and so on. And then I will add orange. If you think your colors are bleeding too much, you do not have control, reduce the amount of water. So make your mix a little bit bolder, and then you will have better control. Again, I'm adding everything a little bit random. I try to leave white areas around. And now I would like to add red as my main color, permanent red. As it is much darker, I avoid to paint with red in the area of glare. So I just step aside and I add it in our, so to say, a little bit darker area, which is on the right. With the tip of the brush, I can shape and add a little bit of details, untouched areas, for example. And the bolder your mix, the drier your mix, the more control you will have, and therefore you can create the shape a little bit more precise, like this. And we can add Windsor Red or Meadow Lake Deep if you have Meadow Lake Deep, for example, just in the very right side of our ornament and around underneath the top. With if you hold your brush almost vertical and paint just with few hairs on the tip of the brush, you can create nice lines and reflections like this. Now I wash my brush and I glaze the next shape. Try not to touch the previous section. I leave here and there some white areas. I can use them later. This is just a very nice thing what's happening right now. I like when colors bleeds that organically, and they bleed in a good place, because remember, we have to keep this area light. I would like to add few white, yellow moments in the shape, then orange, always a little bit random because everything reflects. It's great if you can make pictures from real ornaments and hanging on the real Christmas tree, so then you see how it all reflects. We do not have Christmas tree yet, therefore I can't provide you with a realistic example. Now let's add red, permanent red. I have it pretty bold, and basically I allow watercolor move by itself, and I would like to add a little bit more of red in this part of the ornament. If something went wrong and you got a lot of colors in the light area, wash your brush, dry a brush with a paper towel, and with clean and damp brush, go in the area of glare and lift excess colors and paints. So now Windsor Red, more details. I like to add some brush strokes, as just like this. Don't forget to add very dark mix in the very, very bottom corners and somewhere around a few drops. Also, I would recommend to add a little bit of this very dark mix right under the top. Next, first glazing the whole section, then the most light mixes, orange for example, reds. You can here and there try to connect those shapes. For example, like this. Windsor red. It feels like I have a little bit too much water as I would like to, therefore I just grab Windsor red right from the pen, which is very bold, and it does not bleed flow so much, so I have a little bit of control over what's going on here. Vary your brush strokes. Sometimes paint with the tip of the brush, sometimes with the body. Then bold mix. Few drops around. I would like to make it a little bit more thick, dense. And just add on this section, on this side. I wash my brush. I need to wash my brush even better. So I glaze this area. I try to distribute water evenly. A little bit of light orange, diluted red. Then like this. And some Windsor red, always darker accents in the corners to divide one section from the other and create the volume. We paint in very loose style, so all bleeds you get in there are great. And if you got something accidentally which was not planned, which very often happens, then just let it be as it is. Dark. And then another section. This section I will paint just with cadmium permanent lead red light, just like this. So I really like how it all flows, connects. I will add a few drops of yellow around, and then the most bottom part. Permanent red light. I try to leave here and there some untouched white areas, white paper. Then I use permanent, or not permanent, Windsor red, like this. I think it's lovely. And now, while this area is a little bit wet, let's put our ornament on a background. I wash my brush, and with pretty wet brush I go around my shape, the ornament, and here and there I touch and then I wash my brush again and I extend those background line. And watercolor will find the way for itself. And now we can just help and add some accents. Orange, maybe some yellow. Usually Christmas tree has Christmas lights on it. Usually they are warm yellow colored, so that all can be very nice and lovely. You can add a few drops, splashes on the wet paper and add some salt. That was very quick, I know. Let's do the other part. I will firstly remove the side of our source. On the other side, I would like to make imitation of the Christmas tree. So I will mix my phthalo green. With burnt sienna to get more realistic green color. If you have watched my previous videos about green mixes, you will find all these mixes there. I would like to just paint random, spontaneous brush strokes, dilute everything. And this time I do not want to touch the surface of my ornament. Yes. Having said that, it's no problem, but I want to keep this side a little bit more smooth and this a little bit more precise. So I add just an idea of Christmas tree. As you notice, I'm not paint details. I just add, so to say, green, something green on the other side. But the rule is that whatever is around glossy object, it will reflect on the glossy object. So we will need to add few drops of green on our ornament. I would recommend you just to add it on some white areas, or which might be left, like this. If you have some space which is still wet, some areas which are still wet, you can add few green drops wet on wet. And of course on the top a little bit, not so much. It should be really very small accents. Just like this. Now let's paint the top. This is very nice. I can't let it go like this. I will add a little bit of salt to create nice textures. And while everything dries, let's paint the top. Do you hear the sound? It's we have horrible windy rain outside. I'm afraid to look out of the window. So the top, and of course it also this golden top, it reflects again everything. And reflections, they are more in the brown dark side, so I will just take burnt sienna, and with the tip of the brush I will divide these three sections. And with orange color, just with tipping moves, I will I will hang my ornament somewhere. As a final touch, you can add several dry brush strokes over the dried surface already. For example, in this section, you lost a little bit of dark tones, so you can do it on top. Then you dry a brush with a paper towel and with damp brush go around the edges and soften them like this. And let's do few brush strokes in the bottom area, something like this. Let's add final touches to the top. We just divide them with dry brush strokes. And if you like, you can add a few splashes on the dry paper. Be careful, it's always easy to overdo that. And I can see that some green accents can be also nice. That direction, and a little bit here. And our Christmas ornament is ready.
Thank you so much for painting with me. I hope you enjoyed the process. I hope you have a nice Christmas mood. I'm wondering, have you already decorated Christmas tree? And what would you like to paint next? Happy holidays and see you soon. Bye bye.